To believe what is worth believing is integrity, to doubt what is worth doubting is also integrity. Respecting the virtuous is kindness, despising the unworthy is also kindness. It is a kind of wisdom to speak appropriately. It is also a kind of wisdom to be silent appropriately. Therefore, understanding when to keep silent is the same as understanding when to speak. A person who speaks a lot and all conform to the rules of etiquette and law is a saint. A person who speaks little but can conform to the rules of etiquette and law is a gentleman. A person who speaks a lot but does not conform to the rules of etiquette and law but dwells in them, even if he can speak in a reasonable manner, is a villain. Therefore, a person who makes a lot of effort but cannot solve the needs of the people is a treacherous politician. A person who labors but cannot follow the laws of the previous kings is a treacherous thinker. A person who argues with wit but does not conform to the norms of propriety and law is a treacherous arguer. These three kinds of evil things are forbidden by the wise emperor. The wise in nature but sinister in heart, the vicious but clever. The deceitful but cleverly arranged, the useless but eloquent in speech, the impractical but perceptive in argumentation, these are the great scourges in the governance of the state. Evil behavior but stubborn, cover up mistakes but can perform perfectly. Make power and treachery but can do it with ease. Speak seemingly reasonable but contrary to common sense, these are especially forbidden by ancient kings. The person who is smart by nature but does not know how to obey the law, brave but does not know how to restrain, perspicacious but is absurd, extravagant but is headstrong. Likes to be treacherous but has many friends, like the person who likes to run away but goes astray, and has a heavy responsibility but loses his footing in power, this is the person who is detested by everyone in the world. The way to make all the people in the world obey you sincerely is to be a moral person who does not look down on others in high positions, who is wise and sensible but does not embarrass them, who is sharp but does not compete with others, who is strong and brave but does not harm others, who is open-minded in seeking advice on what he does not know, who is able to learn on his own what he does not possess, and who knows how to be humble even when he is capable. In the presence of the king, he follows the rules of courtesy and righteousness as a subject, in the presence of his neighbors. He follows the law of orderly order among the young and the old, in the presence of his elders. He follows the moral standard of obedience of his children, in the presence of his friends. He follows the code of conduct of practicing courtesy and righteousness, and abstaining from giving way, in the presence of those who are lowly and young. He adheres to the principle of courtesy and righteousness, of tolerance and instruction. There is no one who does not love and respect others, and there is no one who does not compete with others. So that one's mind is as tolerant of all things as heaven and earth, and if one can do this, one will be respected by the virtuous and the unworthy, and will be close to the unworthy. If you are not able to obey them, you are a strange and cunning person, and it is right to punish them even if they are your children. In ancient times, the people who were officials were people who were generous and simple, people who could unite with the masses, people who valued morality, people who were willing to give charity, people who stayed away from crimes, people who worked hard according to the facts, and people who were ashamed to be the only rich people in the world. The people who are officials nowadays are mean and treacherous people, people who harm others and disrupt order, people who are indulgent and wanton, people who are greedy for profit, people who violate laws and regulations, and people who do not follow the rules of propriety and justice but are greedy for power. In ancient times, the hermit was a person of high moral character, a person who was at ease with himself, a person who practiced the right way, a person who obeyed the order of heaven, a person who manifested the right way. The hermits nowadays are those who are not talented but boast of their talents, those who are not wise but think they are wise, and those who are greedy for benefits and never satisfied and false. What a scholar and a gentleman can and cannot do is, a gentleman can win the respect of others because of his noble character, but does not have to be honored. He can win the trust of others because of his honesty and integrity, but does not have to be trusted. He can win the reappointment of others because he has talent, but does not have to be appointed. So a gentleman will feel ashamed because he is not noble enough. Not ashamed because he is slandered by others, will feel ashamed because he does not have enough integrity, not ashamed because he is not trusted, will feel ashamed because he is not talented enough, not ashamed because he is not valued. Therefore, a person who is free from the temptation of honor, free from the intimidation of slander, able to obey the morality of heaven and earth, able to discipline himself, and able not to be turned upside down by external things, is a true gentleman.